the trigger. He either completed his manifesto or his video. He put his package together, one that he intended to mail to NBC in New York City.
They shut down the elevators and the staircase in the center of the dorm. I had friends who were on the elevator when the police were shutting it down. They were more aware of the gravity of the situation than most.
When police arrived, they found out that Emily had returned to the dormitory earlier that morning, that she had been out with her boyfriend who went to school at Radford, a nearby university. Emily's roommate had been away from the room. When she came back, law enforcement, of course, refused her entry into the room.
Emily and Heather Haw, her roommate, had spent the previous night with their boyfriends. Both of them had a habit of returning very early to get ready for class.
Her roommate quickly identified Emily's boyfriend and also said that she knew the two of them had been out target practicing, that Emily's boyfriend did own and possess firearms.
So they felt, okay, well, here's a boyfriend. This looks like maybe a domestic dispute. We know that he has guns, so we're going to go after him. They thought this was done. They thought this was an isolated, one-off incident. They were going to go and get the shooter, solve the crime.
They made a decision, a fateful decision, that since the believed shooter, the believed killer of these two, had fled the area, that it would not immediately impact on that campus. While the police are investigating this, what they believe to be an isolated shooting incident, across the rest of the campus, it's Monday morning as usual. Students, commuting students, are driving in. Professors are going to the classroom. Students who are rising, eating breakfast, or simply putting their books together and heading across campus.
I have actually had my book bag on, getting ready to walk out the door, but I just thought, you know, maybe I'll check my email. The only email that I got was email from my professor saying that class was canceled. Your papers are due on Wednesday. And you can tell by the tone of the email that he had no idea there was a shooting. Nobody did. It was a very normal email. He just simply said, you know, regards, you know, have a good day.
Evidently, he had a rental car, and he used that, some suggest, to drive from campus to the nearby U.S. Post Office, where he went in and put a box together. It was a logical assumption to believe that their suspect had fled campus, but unfortunately a very fatal one, and that their investigative resources were directed at trying to find Emily's boyfriend as opposed to ensuring that there wasn't a killer on loose.
I was watching SportsCenter and checked my email before I leave. And I checked my email and I noticed that there was an email at 9:26 that said that there was an incident in West HA. They didn't say classes were canceled or anything like that.
The boyfriend, a student at Radford University, he was found, based upon a description of his pickup truck, driving on a road somewhere between his campus and the Virginia Tech campus. Law enforcement pulled him over, got him out of the car, handcuffed him, and began demanding to know why his girlfriend had been shot. And authorities were still questioning him and getting a search warrant for his apartment, looking for weapons, looking for some evidence of the crime that they believed at that moment he had committed.
So I just decided to get in my car and I drove down to Price's Fork, parked my car, and started walking towards campus.
I was walking to my next class, and a cop car was driving the wrong way on the drill field, and it went up on the sidewalk, and so I had to get off the sidewalk, and I thought, that was a little weird.
One girl said that there were shots fired at this side of campus, and I didn't really believe her. It was just kind of like that sort of thing would never happen here. So I kept walking a little bit, and I probably saw 15 people walking from the building that I was walking towards down this way, and they just said, go to your car and leave.
I saw, like 6 cops run out of the building that my next class was supposed to be in, which was past Norris. And, like, they got their guns drawn. They're yelling at people to get away from the building, and then I heard a gunshot.
Living on the 7th floor, I had a fairly good perspective. I basically had a 360-degree view of outside the dorm. And as soon as the second shootings were reported on the news, I saw the 1,000 law enforcement officials who had been standing outside of West Hambley Johnson with guns pulled, literally sprinting across campus.
Today I woke up at around 8 o'clock for classes, and apparently that was 15 minutes after the first shooting took place.
And my professor told me he had heard of a shooting, and we didn't know much about it at that time, so we didn't think anything of it, and I continued to do my work.
I haven't heard of any report of someone seeing Cho come in. So Cho, wearing a hat, wearing a vest, wearing a leather jacket, would not have stood out.
I remember him being, just a superb teacher. He had a real enthusiasm with the class.
Jocelyn is there with her dazzling smile. Bonjour! And full of energy. She is a force of life. When you meet her, she's dazzling.
He was able to draw the perfect circle on a chalkboard. He would do it really fast. It wasn't like a slow circle where he just took so much time on it. He would just do this really fast and then do that really fast, and it'd be a perfect circle.
He had huge affection for his students, and he sacrificed his life for them.
There have been some reports where someone believed perhaps to have been Cho had looked in a classroom and then not entered. Cho carried 2 handguns, a 9mm Glock semi-automatic pistol and a .22 semi-automatic pistol.
I started taking my test, and about 30 minutes into the test, we started hearing loud noises. We weren't sure what they were. We thought it was construction.
To this point, there's been no reason suggested as to why he chose the first room.
I was in my German class. I remember looking at my phone. It was about 9:40, and we started to hear some loud pops.
He methodically opened the door and went in and began shooting students, teachers alike. It had to be a horrific scene.
And then a guy comes into the room. He shot our teacher, and then we all got on the ground real quick, and he started just shooting around at different people. It was, just so hard to describe. Just people shot, just blood pretty much everywhere. Just completely unreal. It's so hard to describe.
I was just praying that, I would be okay, and as many people around me would be okay as well.
Nobody could really stop him because we were all hit.
I'm not sure how long it lasted. It felt like a really long time. And then he finally left the room.
We were all taking our test, and we continually heard more gunshots going off. So finally